Hey everyone, Suzi here, and today we're playing Watcher of Realms. For today's video, we have dev insights from May 13th, and we also have some Forerunner Server news to share with you guys. Alright, so I'm here without my face for this recording. It's late at night. My eye's really bothering me, so instead of trying to not make myself look, extra silly and trying to put on makeup or something to, deal with it, I'm just gonna have no face and instead of sitting here looking like a winky pirate. Alright, so I'm gonna go through and read some of the key dev insights that are mentioned here. Then we're going to pop on over to the Forerunner server update. We have a pretty big update posted a day or two ago here that has a lot of things, including Demi's buff and more. So if you guys want to stay around for those details, I will separate that section with a chapter, but let's start with the dev insights, again from May 13th. Alright, starting off with question 1, talking about mythic artifact essence shards or something for exclusive artifacts. Know that they should be better value. Just selling for basic meteorites is pretty meh, so we should have something of higher value for those maxed out exclusive artifacts that we could only use one of, and then all the rest of them are just trash. They do reply saying we will make some improvements to the dismantlement selling of exclusive artifacts, so that is something they plan to do. Alright, question 2. You can add soulstone shards from Abyss so farming would have a better return and still be worth it. Most of the time you don't even receive your 200 diamonds and just some essence, stamina, and useless gear. They say in the upcoming versions we will make some adjustments to the rewards obtained from Guild Boss in the Abyss difficulty. So hopefully that means we're going to get a little buff to the lower tier, at least, difficulty. Personally, I have to agree. I think the very first chest for Abyss that I ever got from doing it the very first time, I had a gold chest. I don't remember what the reward was now, but nothing, not one gold chest since. So that kind of sucks. Alright, talking about the Easter event. Someone said they did all the events, but were just short of 300 eggs to clear the shop. Perhaps they're wrong, or is this a thing? They did say that the golden eggs that were obtainable were just enough to get all the items from the shop, but future events will be better designed so that players don't need to acquire every token to be able to exchange everything in the shop. So this one was a little bit tougher. I think it was the ancient shards. I was not able to get all of them, but I didn't do the top levels of the challenge modes against the two big bosses to get the golden eggs, so I didn't expect to be able to get that. So that was, I think it's okay as long as you can get the majority of the main rewards, and I think it's okay to expect people to have to do harder content to get literally everything, though, at least from the golden eggs, right? The other ones are always overly generous and very easy to max out, like the blue eggs. Alright, so guild boss auto fights. Obviously the save gear mode for everything would be great, but understand that that can't be literally every content, or people would just do it once, get everything perfect, and then never have to improve their gear. So I understand that they don't want to just do it to everything. They do say, though, that they will gradually add the save gear feature to various game modes. This feature is planned to be added to the guild boss in the June versions. So in June, we will get the save gear plan for the guild boss. So I think they just mean Drake's Chasm, like Abyss or below. Alright, this is a confusing one. So really hoping that new gear raid stages somehow allow us to upgrade tier 2 into tier 3 gear. But that's obviously not the case right now. But they say more gear related play modes are scheduled to be introduced around July. Does that mean gear dungeons? Because I think they're implying maybe that tier 3 gear that we want so much will be more attainable through other methods. So July for some new gear-related play modes. That's definitely an interesting one. There were a bunch of other things that I feel like I've said every single Dev Insights video, so I'm going to skip them. I don't want to always say the literal same thing that we say every single time, so make sure you guys are watching my Dev Insights to stay on top of those. I do try to give all of the information that's new, but saying the same thing every week would get a little bit boring, so we're going to not waste time with that. Alright, would be great to have in-game a section where you can see and manage all of the artifacts. So they say we already have started improving the management window of gear and artifacts. They will be implemented in the second half of the year. I know people have always asked for an easier way to like get to the forge or something and not have to go like to your hero and then to the gear, then to the forge, and then to the tab. It just takes too long for some of that. Too much clicking. Alright, so there's a long post here about the Tower of Deception that they need to nerf it, aka make it easier. It should be getting progressively harder stages, sure, but then it's just like extremely hard. It goes very early on in these lower levels of this new content. I do agree that there should definitely be some sort of balance to where even very new players maybe, or not super new, but at least, you know, people that can do stages 18 and 19s of gear raids, which only can take a month, guys. It's not that crazy. If you know what you're doing or you follow some content creators, it only takes like a month to do all that, and not even for some people. So those same people should be able to do some sort of tower content because that's when it unlocks, right? So I think there needs to be lower rarity or different levels of difficulty maybe. You know, even like I've said this in some other videos about like maybe like raid where there's a normal mode and then a hard mode of tower, or easy normal like they do Void Rift. They need to do something similar for the tower, I think. But they do say at the end here, we will add some intermediate stages in the future. We will also enrich play modes to bring various experiences for players. So yeah, it's been tough. And I do think that it needs a little bit more interest. I almost forgot it existed. Not going to lie, I think the tower is about to expire as of this video very soon. Hopefully not like tomorrow, because then I will not be able to do it this weekend. Oh god, I might not finish my tower this round at all because I literally forgot it was there and I did not do it. Okay, anyway, that might be a next round, but that's fine. Let's continue. Alright, I like this as an interesting arena suggestion. Once you hit Overlord, you don't get knocked out of Overlord. Create a new tier system in Overlord to earn different amounts of Apex crystals. Depending on the tier you land in Overlord, this will help balance Platinum and Gold ranking in Arena, especially for newer players. Players in Gold and Platinum face Overlord-ready teams because they get knocked out, causing those players to struggle to get into Platinum 2 or 3. And yes, this is a huge concern for people just trying to do their init missions. Things are way too hard for arena levels and farming than, say, doing a gear raid stage 18 or AMR 18. It shouldn't be after that to do, you know, the order of things are a little weird there, and that can definitely be part of it. They say this can solve a lot of issues with the ranking system and Apex currency. So they do say, thanks for your suggestion. In the future, we will make some adjustments to the issue where Platinum 3 players are struggling to reach Overlord rank. These adjustments will be implemented in the second half of the year. I mean, that's not what they're saying. They're saying even Platinum 2 and 3, both of them suck. Not just the idea of getting to Overlord in the first place. It's just everything's a hot mess in the lower tiers, unfortunately. But yeah, there's going to be some implementations, adjustments in the second half of the year. All right, let's go ahead over to the Forerunner Server news. So we have some stuff here, guys. This is for the 15th at night, overnight, the 16th. So on the Forerunner server, specifically not global server. So Hero Demi getting her buff. Let's see. Lord's skill increases faction allies, blah, blah, blah. So we know that. That's the same. What are they changing? All right, I'm just going to read it. She's getting optimized, so we'll just, yeah, see if we can figure this out. Maybe they didn't just increase, they just changed her. Faction allies deal 30% more damage to enemies affected by CC effects such as slow, stun, freeze, or immobilized state. Faction allies' damage increases based on the number of enemies in their basic attack range. 5% increase per enemy up to 35% increase. And her skill, Elegy of Ruin, temporarily removes invisibility and begins playing the Elegy of Ruin. Basic attack now hits up to 10 enemies in range, dealing up to 330% AoE damage and inflicting a 50% slow and anti-healing for 2 seconds. This effect lasts for 18 seconds. Rage cap changed from up to 1,000 to 900. And then Waltz of Doom during the Elegy of Ruin. When basic attack hits at least 3 enemies, increases the hero's penetration by up to 5%. This effect can stack up to 5 times and lasts until Elegy of Ruin ends. And then Twilight Covenant, when invisible, reduces damage taken by 30% and restores 10% HP per second. During Elegy of Ruin, each time damage is dealt, restores up to 5% HP for the hero. Some survivability added in there. And her Awaken 1, when Waltz of Doom reaches full stacks, increases attack range for Elegy of Ruin and attack speed by 150. Her Awaken 3, during Elegy of Ruin, deals an extra 50% damage to targets with less than 50% HP. And Awaken 5, during Elegy of Ruin, if Waltz of Doom reaches full stacks, deals 640% AoE damage one time to up to 10 enemies in the basic attack range when Elegy of Ruin ends. Alright, so you guys let me know, does it sound good enough? Where are my Demi players at? I still do not have her, so this doesn't mean too much to me because I haven't really experienced her to be able to feel if this sounds like a big improvement, not gonna lie. Alright, Phelan, the Buckthorn Druid, fixed an issue where her basic attack couldn't hit airborne units. Oh boy. Yeah, that's definitely an issue. That's a thing. A mage not being able to do her job. That's kind of important. Alright, and Beatrix optimized the auto cast logic of the ultimate. Beatrix can now properly cast the ultimate when enemies appear on the entire battlefield. Okay. Alright, a little bit of little fixes, but big changes for Demi. Now, Guild Wars Season 8 starts. I thought we were in Season 8 now. I don't know. Updated the Central Keep and Tower maps for the new season. Updated new season theme, avatar border, and emote rewards. Added the Batwing Banshee as a new season Demon Soldier. The previous season Demon Soldier Chaos Shaman can now be obtained from gear raids. Demon Soldier Batwing Banshee is an airborne unit with team support capabilities that can reduce enemy heroes' damage output. Added a Guild War sandbox feature. So the requirement for access is to unlock after clearing the Guild War training stages. Feature access. The entrance appears on the Guild War interface, replacing the original training stage after unlocking. The available functions are: the sandbox supports 2 modes. You can use the solo practice to challenge teams you've set up, Or use player face-off to practice with guild members and friends. The player face-off list displays all guild members and friends who allow practice matches. Now that's amazing. You have to enable it so people can't just beat you up without your consent. That's funny. But you also can just attack yourself. So people that are super into the testing, don't worry about other people, just make it yourself. You know, that's super cool. Of course, there might be people that are like, I don't have this character. Can someone else make this team so I can test it? That'll still be the case. All right, team setup rules. You can set up a separate defense team exclusively for the sandbox. The face-off battles will prioritize using this team. If no sandbox defense team is set, the Guild War defense team will be used instead of, so checked independently for each team. And all right, let me finish. The gear update rules are the sandbox defense team's gear is saved separately from Guild War. It needs to be updated independently and set up independently. Okay, that's really interesting. Although I really hate the word sandbox for this because as I've played other games, I realize that is a gaming term, which normally means open world experience. So that's very confusing. And all of a sudden I'm losing my voice. Sorry guys. Oh god. Guild War Season 7 Gladiators Gauntlet will start for the Forerunner server. That's here soon, starting the 19th. And then we had some stages changes. Immortal Codex Drake's Chasm Gear Raid 1, 2, and 3, and Artifact Material Raid now save the gear and artifact info for the current lineup when saving autofight records. Oh my goodness. What? They were like, that'll happen later on. Everything's gonna save gear? What? They're testing that on the Forerunner server? Holy moly. That's insane. Gear saves like everywhere. Oh my god. That's just like, yeah. That is amazing quality of life improvement. Alright, and you can now save auto fight records after the takeover of auto fight. And the saved record will still include the gear info from the current battle. Oh wow, so we don't have to redo our auto fights. You can do an auto fight and then be like, yeah, you want to save this gear? Okay, cool, we'll save it. We'll lock it in. It succeeded, good enough. We're just going to save this gear. That's amazing. Because when I first read this, I was like, oh shit. Now I got to go and redo all my battles just so I can make sure the gear is saved. No. Actually, it sounds like that's not the case. That is incredible. Okay, and then they adjusted and optimized Drake's Chasm Abyss 1 rewards. This is a lot of this stuff here has been stuff that was talked about in the Dev Insights quite a lot, which is why I always like to combine these videos. So Drake's Chasm reduced the drop rate of random mythic gear chests, added variant gear drops. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. What? I love that. Added Titan Meteorite and Wisdom Meteorite drops. That's fun. Remove certain low-value items. See the in-game details. Okay, guys, again, this is the Forerunner server, so not to global yet. And in the Arena AoE DPS challenge, waves 1, 2, 3, and 4, monsters have reduced HP. Please take note and adjust your lineup accordingly. Interesting. That's really cool. Okay. That was ridiculous. But the early waves were fine for someone with some OP teams. But my goodness, the ends are incredibly hard. I remember trying to set up my teams and being like, holy shit, can't even make it to the end. When selling gear and artifacts, the interface now shows how many pieces of ancient gear or exclusive artifacts are included in the current sale. Okay. And when selling exclusive artifacts, you'll receive extra artifact materials based on the number of exclusive artifacts sold. And for those who sold exclusive artifacts before the update, compensation artifact materials will be sent via mail based on the number of items sold. Wow, that's great. Backdated rewards. And removed a purchase limit for the monthly card. Whew. Okay, guys, that was a doozy. These are huge updates. Like, optimizing the Abyss rewards, that's incredible. Especially adding variant gear. And then the whole saving our gear. Oh my goodness. So this really brings to light the stuff we talk about in Dev Insights. First getting implemented often on the Forerunner server before they go global. So yeah, that was a good one, guys. There's some juicy stuff there. Confirmed updates to come in June and July, noted a lot in Dev Insights, and a lot of that is going to carry over with how things go with doing it on this Forerunner server. So remember, guys, you're probably going to hear me talk about these in June or July when we have our big updates for global, because that happened on the Forerunner server first. But remember, all of this stuff is subject to change by the time it comes to global. They do use Forerunner server as kind of a testing ground on a much larger scale. So we will see how this comes to global, hopefully sooner rather than later. But yeah, that's been all for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.